Welcome everyone, Dylan Gemelli here today with a brand new video for you. So today I want to talk to you about the importance of using GW-501516, also known as Cardarine, with Trenbolone. So basically to combat a lot of the side effects that Tren brings. But before we get into that, I have to reiterate that I am not a doctor, so anything I say in these videos is for your entertainment purposes only. What you do with this information is completely and utterly up to you, and I am not condoning nor advising you to use any of the products we discuss in any way, shape, or form. So let's talk about combating side effects of Trenbolone with Cardarine, GW-501516. I'm going to stick to calling it Cardarine. I don't need to spell out the numbers for you constantly. As we know, most of us that have been involved in this, and most new guys even know this as well, just from reading a little bit, Tren may be known as the king of steroids, but it's also known as one of the kings of side effects. You know, basically one of the harshest steroids that you can run. Comes with a slew of side effects, albeit with excellent results. So many of the side effects that we know of would base themselves around cardiovascular side effects. We know about the trensomnia, the night sweats, but cardio seems to come up more and more and more so than anything else. And I'm going to do a complete video simply based upon Tren side effects alone coming soon, so stay tuned for that. But the cardiovascular side effects pop up more and more and more, as do the negative effects that come about on cholesterol and blood pressure. Now, let's just quickly go over why Tren causes cardio side effects, because I see people say, oh, well, Tren hurts cardio, but no one ever really says why. So many people that use Tren are going to claim to, say they get what seems like a diminished cardiovascular and pulmonary capacity during use with Tren, which seems to basically kind of go away shortly after Tren is discontinued, depending upon the ester. If you're running a longer ester, it's going to take a little bit longer, a couple weeks to clear your system, as opposed to Tren acetate, which is out of your system rather quickly. All right. Now, this particular side effect, like most, is pretty much dose dependent for most people, where many users can experience very little in this regard if they're keeping their dose a little bit lower, but people tend to like to push it with Tren for whatever the reason. I don't know, because I don't recommend it, but then they're going to be, experiencing this side effect a lot worse. Now, basically, in a nutshell, this is a result of Tren's effect on the body in increasing amounts of what's called F2 alpha. All right? Now, what results from this is bronchial constriction. And what happens then? Well, it makes it more difficult for you to draw large amounts of oxygen into your lungs, especially when it comes to aerobic training, okay? So we know that can be a problem. Some people don't experience this at all, okay? They don't. But others do experience it in a really bad way, all right? Now, it basically what happens is that it's not considered life-threatening, okay? So don't get that in your head. But the user's respiration is going to be a lot harder, all right? And it's going to be a lot heavier during periods of physical exertion that, basically did not occur prior to you using Trenbolone. You're going to notice breathing heavier, having a hard time catching your breath, that type of thing when you're really physically exerting yourself. Now, it's only temporary, so don't think that this is something permanent, and it should subside after you discontinue Tren use, dependent upon the ester that you're using. The only caution here, though, is if you have asthma, you do not want to mess around with Tren. I really wouldn't recommend it, especially if you have severe asthma attacks. All right? I would be highly hesitant. It's something I never recommend to anybody that asks me. But now you understand the negative effects on cardio. And for guys that, like myself, that are huge cardiovascular like athletes or, train cardio constantly, I run 50 miles a week, so Tren's not super ideal for me. The times that I have, messed around with it, I've kept the dose rather low because I know better. So it really didn't give me much problems, but I was also using GW-501516, Cardarine. Cardarine, as we know, is basically an ultimate performance enhancer. It increases your endurance by basically giving you the ability to increase your VO2 max, constantly. Well, by doing this, it can mitigate or offset these negative side effects from Trenbolone, especially if you're running a good moderate dose. So many people find that when they use Cardarine along with Tren, it doesn't affect their cardio training whatsoever. All right, and for others that still have a negative effect, it mitigates it a lot for them. So it proves to be extremely helpful. Now, Tren also can have a very, very negative effect on your cholesterol and your blood pressure. Well, guess what? Cardarine was originally designed to treat cholesterol, to help people that have cholesterol problems. Not only that, it also helps to decrease your blood pressure, all right? So you take those two in there together, and that really helps tremendously when you're running Tren to help to offset and mitigate those side effects as well. So 3 terrible side effects. Obviously, you do not want your blood pressure increased nor cholesterol, going up. And then you understand now the cardiovascular side effects, and that's not good. Like, it's not permanent, but it's not good either to have those negative things going on and having those, that strain and that trouble breathing. So Cardarine really helps to alleviate all of these side effects. So I highly suggest considering it when you're using Trenbolone. 20 milligrams per day. All right, you can do it up to 16 weeks at a time. You can really go longer if you want, but I wouldn't, because you could desensitize to it, and there's, not really smart to stay on something just too long, anything, unless it's TRT, etc. But definitely something that will help. So keep that in mind when you're running Trenbolone. It's definitely, when I recommend cycles, it's a must when I recommend Tren. Really with anything, because it's an ultimate performance enhancer and it takes you to another level, but with Tren especially. If you need help finding it, one of the best places I can recommend to go is esarms.com. It's just the letter esarms.com. That's where I recommend to go. That choice is yours. But that being said, I would strongly suggest that you take that into consideration when running Trenbolone, especially if you're a cardio athlete. But you also, cholesterol, blood pressure, like I said, major deal. So that being said, www.isarms.com/forums. I'm also in the Evolutionary Forum as well as the Elite Fitness Forum. You can email me, Dylan@isarms.com, and please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. That being said, stay tuned for plenty more to come. Dylan Gemelli, signing off.